We will pick up that next morning after essentially a large party in the town square with a large, massive bonfire on the little hill just to the west of the town square. You all are essentially heroes of Phandalin at this point here, having saved the town multiple times. And whenever you are ready, you can pretty much wake up and start to go about your day. Depending on how hard everybody partied, you might find yourself still out on the hill. You might find yourself in one of the random alleys, or perhaps back in the Stonehill Inn. Um, what would everybody like to do as you start to come to?
I feel like Justin probably partied pretty hard, so he'd be heading over to try and get maybe a big greasy breakfast at the Stonehill Inn and find the rest of the party.
Yeah, Ezra probably wouldn't have partied that hard, so he's already at the Stonehill Inn at a table having breakfast.
Burke was right there with Justin, but he's already at the table and sort of pissed off.
What's the worry, Burke?
Yeah,
Burke
we got to
upset.
go. We got to go to this meeting with the Harpers, right? My head hurts.
Well, mine does too, but I don't think we lost a whole day. Meeting's tonight, right?
Yeah, I think so. Do we know why? Do we know any more about why they want us there?
You can take a look at the letter again and see what you might be able to find out.
Seems they think we can accomplish some tasks for the greater good of the people. Sacrificing riches doesn't sound great to me, but you should see what they want.
Yeah, I feel a little manipulated by this, but I still want to know what they want. So we should get there.
Yeah, I'm curious too. And what's with all the secrecy? Oh,
So, how long do you think you would have slept in there, Justin? What time do you think it is that you're coming to?
I would say maybe a little before midday,
So, I
kind
would
of late
say
morning.
probably shortly after you're arriving at the Stonehill Inn, you actually start to hear a group of horses coming into town. It seems to be a small retinue of sorts going past the Stonehill Inn.
So I'd note that to the others and think it's more Lord's Alliance or
I wonder what's going on. Could check it out.
yeah, that's a good idea. We can get them to have their horses ride a little bit softer. My head hurts. Can't be
So
anything bad, I hope. This town's been through enough, though.
let's go take a look.
As you head outside and start to look about, you would see a few familiar faces riding amongst the horse riders, among them being Sharwin as well as Darren Edermath. And they have about three other folks with them. So, if I can, let me have just describe a first impression of what somebody might see as they see Ellawood.
All right, I pushed off. So from far off in the distance, coming in on the horse, you would see a slender, around 150-pound man. You can tell he's got red, about shoulder, slightly longer than shoulder length hair, galloping up, kind of wearing more exquisite clothing. Not something you can definitely tell that he's not a man of poverty, for sure, but more, his clothing is ragged and torn. Like you can tell that he's been out in the field, doing something. But it used to be, some more upper scale, uh, better looking clothes.
And riding into town, Galleon, you would also be there. Can you describe what your character looks like?
Yeah, about a 6 foot, 200 pound, and long hair tied up back, thick beard.
If I can stop you for one moment, your mic is breaking up right now, Seamus. Can you see if you can get that? And can I have you do it one more time on your description?
Right?
Just sounds like it's a little bit far from your face, maybe?
Okay, how about now?
That seems more consistent.
Okay, cool. So you'd see a 6 foot tall, 200 pound man, wearing heavy armor, a kind of a gown coming off the back of his armor, and he's got long hair tied up in a bun, rugged, bit, quite a thick, rugged beard. And yeah, he's got the look of someone who's of knightly descent.
So, as you see this group riding in, you would recognize pretty quickly Darren Edermath as well. He's also armored at this point, riding in a warhorse. He seems more regal than you've perhaps ever seen him before. Like the age has kind of melted away from him while he's donned his armor. And the biggest thing that would probably shine differently from him versus the others is that his equipment is still quite damaged from many years of actual use. His gear doesn't seem as fresh or as pristine, but it is a new light to see a character who you've met quite a few times and seems so much like a farmer. He's now bedecked in a very beautiful, albeit used, set of armor. And Sharwin herself is still riding in a nice dark blue robes, seeming to have a little bit of damage to themselves. And they are followed by what becomes clear to be a member of the Lord's Alliance also riding with them, who's also in full armor. None of them are wearing their helmets at this point, but they kind of ride by. You would see Darren as well as Charmin kind of nod a bit of a hello to you as they head past and head towards the town master's hall.
Well, Darren looks different. Back in his element, I suppose.
Can you describe what Justin looks like as they ride past you?
So Justin's looking a little ragged from a night of drinking, but he's about 6 feet, maybe a little shorter. Pretty slender build, maybe even a bit scrawny. He'd have he's wearing sort of darkened leather armor. Definitely looks a bit sort of beat up. He's got couple daggers, a rapier, got a longbow, short bow over his shoulder. Brown hair, brown eyes. That's about it.
And Ezra, can you describe yourself for them?
Yeah, as they're riding past Ezra, they'll see a man, not that very tall, around 5'4", and not very big either, only weighing it in around 155. It has dark brown eyes and light brown hair that goes down to like below his shoulders, down to his shoulder pad. What's it called? Yeah, shoulder pads. I'd say that. Fair skin. He's wearing brown clothes with leather armor, holding a quarterstaff and a backpack. And yeah, that's it basically.
And then would you care to describe yourself, Burke?
Yeah, Brooke's just over 6 feet, medium build, blue eyes, blonde hair short, not a beard, but not clean shaven either. Sign of Tempest on the shield that he's wearing. He's got a warhammer and a kind of mean look on his face today.
So, as the horses continue past a little bit, Sharwin from ahead of the group will kind of wheel herself around. I have pressing business with Sildar. If you all would care for some way to break your fast, the Stonehill Inn and my friends here are most certainly the place that you should go. For now, I must go and see Master Hallwinter, and I will have to catch up with you all later. And kind of looking across everybody, she'll do a quick introduction for Sir Gallion and Sir Eliwood. These are Master Burke, Master Yastin, and Master Ezra. They will keep you company in this land. They have recently done a lot to save it, as well as recently saving me.
I immediately just hop off my horse and I stick my arm out like with a smile on my face to shake Burke's hand because he seems to be the most frowny faced guy and I want to make a good impression on him.
Well met. It's quite the eager beaver, this one, huh?
Well met.
Galleon will get off the horse, give a silent nod to, and just stay standing. Well met.
Well met, both of you. So, breakfast?
Sounds good to me. I need some.
Well, we want to hear where you were with Darren. We haven't seen Darren in months.
I appreciate your eagerness. If you give me a few moments, I will stable our horses for us, and perhaps be back here in a short while. I must go to my house at present. For now, I will see you shortly. And he'll offer to take the horses from the other two there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sai.
Obliged.
So you'll see as he kind of takes their reins and starts to ride off to the west of you all. Up a little bit to the north, and he'll kind of take a path not quite out of town, but it seems vaguely as if he's heading out of town before he heads to the west there. And you all can head back into the Stonehill Inn. I think by now, Justin, you could start to find some of your greasy food set across the table. In general, the Stonehills are not going to hold back on this little occasion. You've saved them in very more particular ways than others, and they are quite happy to say their thanks in the ways that they know. food and drink for the table.
Excellent. So Jason will turn towards Galleon and Elwood, and so where are you two coming from? Seems like you might have seen a bit of action before you got here.
Well, I'm gonna need some food in front of me first if I'm gonna give you this story.
Well, fair enough.
I grab the very first chair I see, presumably one with food already sitting in front of it, and I just sit down and I'm just kind of looking around for some sort of server.
There's two people kind of running around inside of the little tavern. One is a woman about 30 or so. She's dark, kind of brunette hair. She seems to be doing most of the actual moving, as well as then a male who looks perhaps a little bit older than her, wearing a large straw hat. He's moving a little bit slower, but still kind of going about the business. And there's usually one inside of the tavern at any given point, and they seem to be kind of shuffling through a door on the west side of the tavern, kind of coming in and out from the back. But it's not long before they catch your eyes again. And which would you speak to, the male, the female?
I would just lift my hands and kind of take my my finger as kind of beckoning the female over to me without saying anything.
Good day to you, sir. What can we do for you?
Oh, your finest. Well, what do you serve here, actually?
Uh, are you are you with our saviors here? Are you friends? Can we can get anything you might need? Do
What's
you
up?
care for a lamb? Chickens? Could do
Yeah,
another pig?
we'll do some lamb here with a side of some scrambled eggs.
Pip, Pip, Pip. See, as eventually a little boy kind of runs out of the back room, close to a minute later. Go run down, find Carp, get some chicken eggs, and bring them back as soon as possible.
Thank you, my
the
lady.
boy will kind of run off. Well, we will get that all prepared, and we will have it out to you shortly.
I kind of break out one chunk of gold.
No, you are fine.
Oh, thank you. I flip it up in the air and I catch it with my hand and stick it back in my pocket. Now that we've got food handled, I guess we're ready for a story, huh?
For sure.
Yeah, Jason's sort of shoveling food into his mouth at this point, so he'll just nod.
I pull up a seat next to me and motion for Galleon to come and join me.
Alien will again nod and follow Ellywood's lead.
So, is there any sort of like candles? Are there like any candles on the table that are lit or anything?
The room itself is lit mostly from actual windows around like the front of the actual inn, and then there's a hearth to the east side that is scattering light across more of the back area. But at this point, no, they are not burning candles at this point in the day.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and motion over to Galleon and say, "You sir, take it away. I'm a little preoccupied here." And then I start digging into the whoever's food was sitting in front of me that I sat down at.
So Galleon will be the story of how their party were on the hunt um, for an old relic in a lair near the Everdark, and unfortunately, due to some bizarre turn of events, a flash of wildfire, wild magic struck the ceiling roof of the cave entrance where we were battling, and unfortunately separated us from the rest of our party, leaving Sir Eddiewood and myself to journey into the Everdark for the only route I mean escape. The tale itself is very long, and if I'm honest, I'm not sure if I'm quite yet ready to retell all of its facts and details. But know that we have seen and suffered quite more than we have seen in recent times.
Also adding chewing on my food. Yeah, I had a problem in there. Yeah, my magic kind of went crazy. It separated us. It's entirely my fault. And then Elwood takes his hands and places them on his face and kind of looks sullen.
Alas, we made it out. Good. Worst is behind us, we hope.
Put my arm on your shoulder and I say, "Thank you, thank you so much for being there for me."
Of course.
Sounds like you two have had quite the time of it. Run into a bit of adventure recently ourselves. The good thing is, coming into town after we dealt with there's a bit of a brigand problem here in town called the Red Brands. Thankfully, they've been dealt with. If you can believe it, we've actually just come back from slaying a dragon.
A dragon? You can't be serious. You killed a dragon.
Well, it was a small dragon.
Well, not small.
A dragon nonetheless.
I think we'll take credit for killing a dragon. That happened.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Certainly a close thing, but we managed to prevail.
The only
So
thing I've
pull out one of the claws and just kind of that I took as a sort of trophy and just kind of show it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're. I'd like to just try and snatch the claw out of your hand and kind of gaze at it in awe.
By Tempest, this is really remarkable. You guys must be really strong
Burke, your
warriors.
mic is open.
Weird. Sorry.
When Jason pulls out the claw, it is about the size of anybody's forearm.
Oh, so I'm not snatching that. No way.
And it's not small.
It's
I mean, not
small.
really.
Oh my god. Yeah, so I'm just gazing at this gigantic claw, just in awe, like I'm flabbergasted. I have nothing to say to that.
Truly a remarkable.
In fact, it was one of the arrows that your companion Darren Edermath fashioned for me that landed the killing blow. So I'll have to thank him when I see him.
But we should be seeing him soon, though.
It's probably about 5 or 10 minutes that Darren is away. Probably like 15 minutes since he left. till he eventually starts to walk in through the front door and find his way to yourselves. No longer wearing his armor, he's once again wearing just very basic, seems like a farmer to all eyes, and he's got a little bushel of apples under one arm and a small keg of what seems to be ale under the other.
Darren, I say as I lift my arm up in the air, kind of waving him over.
Well met, well met. Give me a few more moments. Let me find Toblin, and I will be... Yes, here we are. And he walks off towards Toblin as he comes out of the back room, and you just see as he grabs a tap from him, as well as a few fresh glasses.
Darren brought alcohol. He's like, this is like in the morning, right? Like, what time is this? Is like midday.
Yeah, essentially this would be probably still just before high noon, high day, or high sun.
Man knows how to party.
Well met, Darren. Jasper will look a little uncertainly at the keg and then kind of shrug to himself and then nod as if to say, like, yeah, one more couldn't hurt.
One more is a good idea, I think.
This is a special batch of my apple cider that I've been aging for quite some time.
Oh, as Darren gets to Ezra, like, yeah, introduces himself to him. Like, hello, Darren. I heard great things about you and your orchard. My name's Ezra.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Ezra. Sharwin was quite fond of you in her speech. It will be a pleasure to be your acquaintance. I think you might find yourself quite at home in my orchard.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful from what I heard.
The bees that enrich this honey were a friend of mine who's gone up north. This is some of the finest honey that has perhaps ever come to Phandalin, and it is something I set down many ages ago when I thought I had given up sword and shield for the time. I feel might be another celebration in order, and perhaps today is the day that we can enjoy more than just a taste to make sure that everything is aging well. And upon opening and actually pouring from the cask, there is an extremely sweet kind of clover smell that kind of crosses through the air, and it smells not only of the florals of the main flower, but it's almost like walking through an actual field of wildflowers just as the ale is first flowing from the tap. The aromas of this honey mead is extremely strong. And the first taste, it would be much more like an alcohol, very high proofed, rather than an ale or a mead. This is a very strong brew.
Yeah, I take the first sip and I look over at Darren and I say, Darren, so these are this is locally grown organic honey from the market down the street, or this is kind of a you made this yourself kind of thing?
This is no purchase. Radoth is a bit of a recluse, but he may have actually made it. Who knows what powers he has with his bee friends, but it is among the finest sweetened honey that you might ever find yourself with. and he was kind enough to give it to me, knowing that I had the desire to turn it into a apple cider. The apples themselves, though, they are in fact mine, and that has been a pleasure of mine for quite some time. Uh, just over 25 years, I believe now.
I raise my glass up and I say, to the best apple cider in all of Phandalin. And I kind of hold it there, expecting other people to join it.
You'll see he's got his glass poured very much like a kind of fine whiskey, where it's more just poured to cover the bottom of the glass. But he will raise his glass to you, to surviving the darker times and the light that may come forward.
Here, here. Yes. Hold up his glass as well.
Hi.
Cheers.
It seems in our absence, with the loss of the crooks around the street, you all were not relaxing and have finally taken down the dragon.
Indeed, we did, and in fact, we might have you to thank for it. Arrows you made for me came in quite handy.
Well, that is truly wonderful to hear. We also met the dragon. Once again, we had to attend to the Shrine of Severus, and it was there 3 days ago now, before we met up with these. Sharwin said she had to locate them, and the dragon was there. It had killed many of the orcs who had taken that place, but flew off before we had any threat from it. It's good to know that it could not continue to haunt this place.
Sort of Justin will give kind of like a quick glance over to Ezra after they got that message from his fellow druid, but he won't say anything.
I'm sorry, Dad, but you mentioned the druid who gave you the piece. His name was Radoth?
Indeed.
You wouldn't happen to know if he's gone to Thunder Tree?
That was where his mother was from. He has always been attached to that place, and as I understand, yes, he has been spending much of his time there.
I kind of glance around looking for the server that was just bringing me some lamb and eggs.
At any given point, she's coming by, and yeah, she's dropping things off.
Yeah, I dig it.
Have you met Raedroth in your time? Have you plans to go see him?
We haven't had the pleasure of meeting him just yet, but he did send us a message. So, not sure how soon we'll be able to go see him. We have other matters to attend to, but it would be interesting to meet him, at least.
Speaking of those other matters, Aaron, know anything about the Harpers? They might want to make our acquaintance.
They're a rare bunch who you can find at times, but they're usually pretty good about keeping to themselves and keeping hidden where they interfere.
Have you worked with them, Darren?
I'm sure I have at times. I know the Order has, but usually it is far more secret than I myself would have come across. They're not keen to be known, nor are they open with their actions.
I find all this sneaking about a little annoying myself. Mystery.
Well, not everybody wants their face to be known, for it creates a target.
Well, I guess I'd like to know what the target is. Makes a lot of sense. But Darren, what got you back in your armor? You looked amazing when you rode into town. We sort of suspected, but we hadn't seen you like that before.
Well, Sharwin and I have a bit of history from long ago, and she called on me when you all went into the Sleeping Giant, and it was shortly after that that she began to suspect her friends here had not perished when they were looking to interrogate Vinyana. And, well, I couldn't refuse her request for a little bit more. I don't take to arms lightly. They are useful in their ways, but it is not my desire to fight until I die. I am quite happy taking care of trees and enjoying the wilds.
Can you tell us anything more about Vinyana?
I believe she was an ancient elf in these lands. Some say she has known a great wizard who had gone south to Waterdeep, and Sharwin was curious to try to find an old artifact of hers, a book that was once in her possession. She was said to be a bit of an augur and able to tell the future. Things lost to time, things lost to memory. And while it was not the most fruitful occasion, we were able to learn some things from her. I believe your companions, and he'll look towards Ezra, and for what it's worth, Victor. Oh shit, Ty's actually here. Victor would be at the table, so he'll look towards the two of them and say, I believe you and your companions were among those who met Sharwin while she had the Banshee. Maybe chained is not the right word, but while she imprisoned the Banshee, she was able to gain a little bit of insights.
Hey, Ty. Glad you could make it.
Yeah, sorry. I've been here for a hot minute. I just I didn't want to interrupt with all the stuff going on. Hello?
So,
Hey, Ty.
Let's
Yeah.
Okay,
do one more quick kind of description. Can you describe what Ty looks like for the other players?
Yeah, sure. So Ty is a
My bad, not Ty, Victor.
oh, yeah. So Victor is a he's like 6 foot, wearing leather armor with like semi-fine clothing underneath of the fine armor. I mean, underneath the leather armor. Yeah, it's basically like the token. I don't know if you can see right there, but like the shaved side of his head and all the hair on top slicked back. I think I have. Yeah, I don't have my familiar out right now. So yeah, that's about it. At this point, nothing really other features about him.
Galleon, Ellawood, can you two do one more description of yourselves for Victor's sake?
Go ahead, Galleon.
Yeah. Okay. So what you would see is a 6 foot, 6 foot, about 200 pound man wearing very heavy armor, right back, long hair tied up in a bun, rugged, bushy beard. Kind of seems to appear from knightly backgrounds.
And
Okay.
How early were you all looking to gather and actually start to leave?
well, I'm pretty hungover, so
Yeah,
about
it
an
sounds
hour
like
after dawn.
go and throw some cold water on him, wake him up.
Whoa! I just jumped out of my bed. What the hell was that?
Sorry, time to go.
Well, shit.
You can you can sleep on your horse.
you could have shaken me awake or something.
In hindsight, perhaps a better plan.
Well, usually my the what do the nobles have? Servants. Yeah, my servant wakes me.
Afraid
Did
your
he-
Chamberlain is not here at the moment.
Burke starts laughing. Did he just say that out loud? Seriously?
All right, I get up and I get dressed and I head downstairs in my murky beat up clothes. Guess I'm hungover, trying to haul all my stuff onto a horse.
Yeah, so I think we try to get going around 7 because we have a long way to go to Thunder Tree. It's 2 days ride.
Yeah, 2 day at least.
So as you all start to get everything prepared, everybody essentially has horses for this journey. You all get everything kind of set up, checking your bags and whatnot. And you are prepared to leave probably shortly after sun's kind of starting to rise into the sky. It seems pretty early for the morning's go. You can kind of have gathered like for a nice breakfast before you're kind of back onto rationing, but can more or less be set to go. Um, I'd say probably nearing when you all are ready to go, you would actually see this Sharwin as well is out and back on her horse, and seems preparing to go, and looks to the others and will kind of ask what direction you all are intending to go. Um, Good morning to you all. Are we off on the road? Where do you look to go?
Our man Ezra's got to get to Thunder Tree. So we're headed out.
Excellent. Will you be taking the roads? Or do you intend to go straight there overland?
We were thinking overland. What's your advice?
To each their own. Will you be taking the road, though? Or do you intend to just go straight there? What is your plan there?
I think we'll go north on the road and then across the grassland. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I feel like the faster we can get there, the better.
I guess so. What do you guys want? My head hurts.
I see. Well, I will ride with you for a short while, and I will leave you all when we get to the high road, perhaps.
We'd love to have you.
And where are you headed, Sharwin?
I have business in Leyland. I will be attending to some needs of Lord Neverember, and hopefully be returning home soon. She seems troubled. She seems exhausted. Nobody would have essentially seen her since she rode into town. And basically she seems to have been in the Town Master's Hall, and this is kind of the first that you see her again as she is leaving town. But she will ride off with you all, and as you progress out of town, heading back into the more proper foothills, as it gets, it's still like steep ground as you all head to the north, but you are kind of heading across those switchbacks, heading lower and lower towards the plain, and she just kind of rides with you all, pensive and silent.
Hey, Sharwin, I really appreciate you sending that telepathic message to me and reaching out to me. Really, you finding out that we were alive and coming back for us, that meant a lot. Thank you. Thank you for coming back for us.
It is good to have returned for you. It is better to see you again.
Are you okay with me leaving your side and going with these guys and helping them out? Are you sure this is what's best for me?
I believe you'll find yourself with more room to grow with this group. I will be returning shortly to Lord Neverember, and I believe most of my time will be spent trying to understand what it is Vignana was doing.
If you ever need me, send me a message. Here for you, Sharwin.
That is good news for sure, but I believe my life is going to become much more quiet and subdued with time.
Thank you for everything you've given me. Goodbye.
So when you all get back to the high road, probably little past like kind of midday, on that first day out of Phandalin, she would start to head south along the high road, down towards Leyland, as you all start to head to the north, and pass on her goodbyes as well. But you would notice a little bit more activity on the high road itself, and it kind of explains perhaps a little bit of how the Lord's Alliance has taken at least the 30 or so troops that you've seen in Phandalin, but the high road itself already seems to be slightly more defended and traveled by troops, even in like your initial passing into that area. But you all can continue along the road. There's still definitely like a certain number of like distraught and refugees along the road who seem without. Many people are being helped by some of the soldiers, but predominantly the soldiers seem to just be kind of progressing north and south along the road, keeping the different areas defended and safe at this point. And you all can make it probably another, probably about 20 or so miles north before the sun starts to set on you.
Does anyone have a spare water skin? Feeling a little thirsty.
Here, you can have mine.
Ah, thank you. Take a big old gulp. I'd swallow like half of it down and back to you.
No worries.
I haven't been feeling too well today. Do I remember me getting on the stage last night? Did I really do that?
Oh, yeah, you did that.
Oh, I hope I didn't embarrass myself. What did I say?
And to be quite honest, I don't remember exactly what you said, but I more remember you being up on the stage and moving funnily.
I didn't try
I
and
think-
sing or dance, did I?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was
Oh,
fine.
no.
Really, it was all fine. I think. I don't think it was embarrassing until you took your pants off. Then that was a little much.
I took my pants off.
Yeah, that was a
No.
little weird.
Oh man, but my shirt stayed on, right?
Cleared the room anyway. So
Were there fine women around, at least?
there were women.
Oh, that none of them came back to the room with me, did they?
No, not a chance.
I just kind of like gallop ahead in shame.
He's kind of fun, huh, guys?
Yeah, he seems really fun.
I kind of got like a little glimpse of that, and I used my cantrip digitation to make like a little puff of firework poof out of my hand, and I turn around and I'm like, very fun.
Yeah, I'd drink with him again.
Maybe
We,
like an hour or so.
might make sense to set a watch just in case.
I need my rest tonight, guys.
Well, I can take first watch when we get rest.
I'll take last. I'm gonna put my armor on and off.
I can take the second. Then I don't know. Can we have Victor take the third so that Ellawood can get some rest?
Sure.
So, like, what kind of damage would hangover damage be? Like, if we were to categorize that as like a D something? No, I'm just kidding.
Poisoned.
Poison damage.
Who's watching first? Let me get 2 rolls from you. And where are you all intending on camping here? Just kind of along the road? Are you going off the road?
Let's say probably off the road a bit. Maybe away from the forest, so on the little ways to the east of the road.
You're probably right about between like the H of High Road, like between the H and the R of High Road, towards that kind of southern end of where it's listed there. So you're 15 miles west of the forest and probably 10 miles east of the sea. Depending on where you'd like to go, you're pretty much on a high point, and you can go off towards like the grass by leaving. Like, it's more or less kind of like the muddied road, with little hints of actual greenery before you actually start to leave the road itself.
I'd like to take a look around and see if I see anyone near us. I'm looking for like people or human-like creatures specifically.
Like, while you guys are on the road itself, there's plenty of people moving about. So it depends
Okay.
what time it is when you are trying to look for people. Like, when you're
Makes
laying
sense.
down to sleep, are you trying to find people?
No. I didn't know like if the road had a lot of traffic at night, or if we were just kind of off by ourselves, like in the middle of the dark on this road.
Trying to get to that point before you can actually ask that question then. So,
Right.
which direction off the road are you all going?
East? What do you guys
It
think?
seems
And how far off the road are you going?
like just a little bit. So we're not on the road, but we're not like
Like a
Vaguely,
couple 100 yards ish.
vaguely keep it in sight kind of thing, but otherwise make camp inside of the grasslands?
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Seems
that makes sense.
So yeah, you can roll a perception if you would like, Ella.
This is real D&D now. I'm rolling something.
Keeping an eye out as you all like progress off of the road. You notice some of the guards are kind of taking note of you all leaving, but they're all people wearing the same Lord's Alliance that you would recognize from any of the major cities, and much of your time spent around. It doesn't seem shocking to see that if there's Lord's Alliance on the high road at this point, that they're making note that there are people leaving the trail at that point. But that's about all you see as you guys start to leave it. Once you make camp, there doesn't seem to be anything happening around you all.
Cool.
Let me get another perception from you, Ezra. So, midway through your second hour of the watch, Ezra is going to fall asleep.
I am out like a baby. I needed this sleep.
Is there any way for me to see if Jason wakes up for his shift without Ezra waking him?
We'll see in a few moments here. So, let me get perceptions from the group at disadvantage, please.
Oh, mine didn't show up on the sheet, did it? Let me do it again.
$16's not.
Alrighty. So, everyone is shocked awake by a loud blast of thunder that seems to be striking down right near you all. And first thought would probably be looking to see that the grass has not caught fire, as clearly lightning has struck this area. There's a smell of metal to the air that seems to linger. It's like a very dense kind of fog around you that seems to be trying to choke the fire left in the center of your camp. And the darkness, though there's some ability to see, the light's not really coming off of the fire. It's far closer to kind of charcoals and embers at this point. But the mist even seems to be kind of choking in on that. And there's just like a little bit of the waxing moon kind of casting light down into the mist that you can see like a few feet off of the ground. But as you wake up, it's very much kind of into like a white mist all around you.
Ah! What was that?
Ezra, what was that?
Well, seems to have been lightning.
I'm gonna start putting on my armor.
Are you sure it wasn't Burke's aunt?
No, she's not theatrical. She's secretive. Just look. What does the sky look like? Is there a storm?
As you look up, as you kind of like stand, starting to bind yourself into your armor, looking up, the sky looks absolutely clear. You see the crescent moon above you. There doesn't seem to be anything blocking the sky from view. It seems to be an oddly cool night. The mist doesn't quite make sense, and surely the thunder does not.
I think we're under attack, guys.
I would like to cast Control Flames to double. I can use Control Flames to double the light, or what is it? Hold on. Says I can instantaneous expand the flame. Oh wait, no, extinguish. No, double the area of bright light and dim light cast by a flame. So I'd like to cast that on our campfire.
So you are kind of limited on doing that like one at a time. So that is like a course of actions rather than a singular.
Let's say
It's like the lingering effects of it.
okay. Just the camp.
So as the campfire starts to light up and you all are casting light out from this space here, let's see. Burke's armoring himself. Ellawood is relighting the fire. Justin is lighting a torch. And Ezra, you're casting Detect Magic.
Yep.
So, as this course starts to kind of play out, the light kind of starts to grow, and you see you are still in this sea of grass, and all around you it still seems generally calm. But Ezra, you are very quickly going to notice, with the mist around you, there's an emanation of magic that is near you. It's glowing with a sort of magic that doesn't quite recall to you. It's very clearly a magical thing. And as you kind of like focus your attention into that direction, there seems to be a beast that's almost infected by magic. And perhaps at one time it was transmuted into this, but it is otherwise almost a natural kind of new magic. And this is where we will have you all roll an initiative, because as the light starts to grow, it's going to start to and charge forward towards you. So you guys can select your miniatures and roll. Essentially, you will be on just kind of a blank board here, but you can just drop your miniatures where you'd like to be around a little fire.
Drag on
Looks
your
like a
name.
journal.
Drag on the name, not on the picture.
Ah, and the name.
I like that it's a hoedown.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, I think I set up the music for the party in Phandalin. I didn't actually get a chance to switch it over during the break.
Guys are lucky.
I wondered if you were a bard. Sounds good. Giant boar.
Yeah, that's where you just have to select your token with your cursor, and then when you roll, it actually adds it to initiative. But if you forget to, you can always let me know. And as I get closer to actually prepared, I can resolve the issue. If you don't let me know, it is entirely probable that I'm not going to notice and skip you an initiative. I've had people just sit by silently, like, yeah, wait, don't move, Burke. I've had people just sit by silently, and I've got enough on my plate. I don't notice if you're not in initiative, if you don't say anything. Yeah, I can get around to it, but I just mean, like, if something goes wrong and you're not in initiative, it's on you to let me know. Like, I can help you guys with a lot of stuff. I can do a lot of things, but for what it's worth, when we're actually sitting down to play, I need the players to be experts in their characters. So let's see. This is going to start off with Ellawood. What would you like to do as essentially this thing is snorting off in the mist just outside of your, or just inside of your view? There's a little measuring tool off on the left side of the board that you can always measure stuff. It just looks like a little ruler. But for what it's worth, every square is 5 feet.
Are the pig noises coming from the fire?
At this point, Ezra is the only one who really saw it so much as everybody else is like looking towards it from the actual like sounds of it snorting, but it's in view.
I were to.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, Ezra saw it because he cast Detect Magic. So he has that extra kind of like twist to how this is going. But this thing is reacting to what you all did when that thunder strike happened. And that's why it is attacking. You can indeed. Yep, you can essentially move 6 spaces. Sounds right. So as the soil starts to rise up from the ground and grasp around this creature, it almost instantly just kind of falls apart and crumbles to the ground. So let's see. I think it's still going to take half of the damage, but I'm not sure what the 2 damages are. That's a high cost. Interesting. So yeah, it doesn't seem to have any effect at all on it. Ezra, what would you like to do?
Guess I'll cast Ice Knife.
As the blade of ice forms and shoots towards this creature, it seems to embed itself just into like the side of its coat and explode just inside of the fur.
Or is it Burke's turn, Mark?
If you guys like cast a spell, you can post the actual words of it. Otherwise, I'm looking up these spells to do the other stuff for you on it. Ice Knife will explode on it and deal some damage to it. But again, it seems like this creature is unaffected by it. Like, I looked up Maximilian's Earthen Grasp, and I looked up the Ice Knife to make sure that we did those correctly. So that's one of those things, like, sometimes you can post those. But after that, yeah, it's going to go to Burke.
How do we post it again?
There's that same thing in the top right where it says post a virtual tabletop. And usually the first time you're using a spell or the first time you're using it in a while, it's very helpful to see it.
Awesome. Got it. Do it next time.
Back.
What up, Ty?
Victor,
Roll an initiative for us, Ty.
Wake
Just
up,
in time.
giant boar.
Oh.
Yes.
What classes are you guys? By the way, I don't even know what we're dealing with here.
That was kind of intentional. That's why I start people off with the describe
Oh.
yourself, because you see what people are wearing, and that's about all you know until you start to see them doing stuff. I have no clue. This is just a mix.
It's a big hit today.
Sounds like it's just enough that it's probably going to get the video banned.
Yeah, it's it.
So what are you up to there, Burke? What are you doing?
Burke's gonna pull out his because he's got like one leg of cast it.
Did you roll to recover it the last 2 days?
Well, we rolled like I used all 7 charges the first time and rolled that it didn't break.
Didn't. What do I have to do?
It'll say
Roll how
on the
many
magical
charges?
weapon. You should be able to see what it does to recover. And I just need you to make those 2 rolls to actually see that you have a 6th level charge to use.
Cover item. Not trying to be. Now I see them. Gains 1d6 plus 1. Charges daily.
Yep, so you've got a full one.
All right, sorry. All right, so I tried to do that.
So yeah, I want you to roll 7 different missiles, not just a single time.
Yeah, all right, so I roll.
So that's 3 right now.
4. Had it for 6. I didn't want to.
25. So 25 damage. So assuming that my math is correct with 25, at the end of your turn, it is going to let's see. I think it is going to charge at Burke. And it is going to run through and make an attack at Burke. An 11 is going to miss as it thrusts its tusks around. It's like just as you're shooting and able to kind of duck out of the way of it. And then it will go to Jess.
Imara, it didn't.
Oh, without armor?
10, yeah, it's 10. So
All right, my bad.
I didn't up.
It's not going to do much. 8 damage. Oh wait, it's got more. So 8 bludgeoning damage as it kind of stomps over you. And it's going to do 4 thunder damage as well. So a total of 12.
What's thunder damage like? Is it really like when it bored me? Crazy noise.
Like every step of its hooves as it's running towards you are like the explosion of thunder, and you actually smell the ozone as this thing is like stomping past you. Every step is like just like the cracks of thunder. So Justin, back to you, my bad. Yeah, so as it charges past you, you're able to dig your rapier into it for 16, 15 damage.
I have a quick question. When can I use reaction? Do I have to like say it on my turn, or can I just use it in the middle?
A reaction tells you what its trigger is. That's when you can use it, and that's when you need to say it.
Okay.
What is your reaction?
Well, I don't want to use it right now, but I was just wondering because I have.
You should not be trying to hide stuff from me. What are you asking about?
Well, so I have been.
Hold on one second. I am the person who like make sure everything is going off. You can't hide stuff from me. If I seem to be your enemy, you gotta let me know, because it is not my intention to be an enemy in this. I am on your side, one of the players in this group. I just need to be the referee. So when you guys have questions, when you're planning stuff, if you're trying to do something tricky, you've got to let me know, because I am the person who lets it happen by making it happen.
Absolutely. I'm not trying to like hide anything. I didn't want to stop combat. Ask like a question, I guess. But at 6th level, I have the ability to twist fate using wild magic. When another creature you can see an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, I can use my reaction to spend 2 story points, roll a d4, and apply the number rolled as a bonus or penalty to the roll. I can do so after the creature rolls or any effects of the roll occur.
So that's exactly when you can wait for somebody or something to roll, and then make that decision.
Okay, cool.
When you are using it at a detriment to a creature, it's going to be a little bit trickier, because you have to make that decision. I'm not always going to be like leaving long pauses. So there will be a certain level of interruption. Like you kind of have to say with that one, if this thing hits and it's close to their, I don't even know how to say it the right way. If this thing hits and it's on the verge of missing, I would like to react to try to make it miss. It has to kind of be something like that, because I won't always be waiting to let that happen, and I don't want to just always have a pause in there, because each second adds a long time across massive amounts of games. So you have to kind of let that one be, like, bring it up as soon as you know you're looking to do it.
So if I were to cut you off to try and bring that up, that's totally fine.
I mean, my goal is always to be silent while players are engaged. I don't want you to interrupt other people as a matter of kindness. But if you're trying to help somebody, like if Ezra makes an attack and you think he's about to miss, you can say, I'm going to, what was it, intervene fate or whatever? Like, you have to do stuff like that. But the point is if Ezra's describing what he wants to do, I don't want you to start talking over him. And that's, again, it's more common courtesy rather than like making sure the game's flowing.
For sure. Okay, cool. Understood.
So I think that's going to go to Victor. Yeah. Right now it's got 4 of you engaged. Nope, not right now. Now it's going to swipe at you.
Oh, yes. Okay.
It's going to lash out at you with its tusks, and it should hit.
Yeah, my.
Yeah, it's way over there. And it's going to do 12 slashing damage to you as the tusks like start to pierce into your flesh. This blue lightning starts to arc out of the creature's mouth and through the tusks and start to burn into your flesh, and it will do 10 lightning damage. Yep, 22 total. So I'm curious, Justin, why did you choose to move that far?
It's just in case it.
Gotcha. Did you start to gather why that was a poor choice of moving that far? So as you blast your Eldritch Blast, just start to sink into this thing's flesh and fur, and it doesn't move.
Asshole.
In combat, missile weapons, like ranged attacks, are always at disadvantage while you're in melee. Like, you had to move away. My question to Justin is why he picked... Like, it looks like I think he moved 10 feet, but he moved 5 feet away from the creature. He is still within its range. But he only really saw that after the fact, because it basically is charging through and over Burke at present. Alright.
Yeah, it's got a long reach.
Yeah, you've basically seen, like, that's its reach, where it's at. So at the end of your turn there, Victor, it is going to slash out at... What is it? It's the end of Victor. It's going to slash out at Ellawood, and it's going to crit with a very solid hit on you. The tusks are going to do 7, 10, 15 slashing damage, and 8, 10, 11 lightning damage. I think double dice, and it did like 4 points more than it did to Victor.
That's 26.
Sounds right.
Wow.
It is going to continue its movement through Burke, running past you all.
I can have reaction opportunity on that.
Most certainly.
And did.
Can Ezra also get on?
Most certainly. Big ol' swing and a miss as it's basically stomping over you. Ezra will connect. So 15 more.
Nobody was standing next to me.
We're pretty much getting rid of most of the homebrewed rules.
You say 15 more from? I'm one-handed. Actually, I have a shield.
Gotcha. So as it runs over Burke, it's going to turn around and it's going to start to root its tusks into the earth. And as it starts to do it, you see as the earth itself starts to kind of shudder with an electrical charge, and it's going to blast forward from its tusks.
Uh-oh.
Shit, I already thought I made that. I don't have the actual picture of it. Yeah, it's going to go right through the three of you. Let me get a dexterity saving throw from you. Dexterity 15. And it's doing 13 damage. 2 ones.
13 damage.
Looks like everybody's going to still fail. Yep, you'll take 13 damage as the lightning arcs through the earth and up your legs and into you all.
Well, I am on saving throw already.
And I should concentrations. I'm hiding on ignite.
Gotcha. Yeah, so do the con save there with Ezra. And then if you will switch over to Whisper with me, Ella, and send the death save.
Okay.
You saw how to do that where once you drop your hit points to 0, it shows the little dot between the failed and the positive saves. Yeah, so
I see
detect
the-
magic will drop.
I see like the B.
Yep, that'll roll the death save.
Okay.
So
do I
if
do
you
it now?
switch over with Beyond 20, like on the tabletop, if you switch that over to Whisper, you can just click that. If you send it publicly, it's not going to count. That's about the only times I don't count rolls, is I don't want the party to know what happens. So you would all see as Ezra is, or Elwood is being like shocked into the ground. You actually see is like he starts to like choke, and it seems like his tongue is barring his throat and keeping him from able to breathe. Ezra, what are you doing?
I cast Cure Wounds. Down.
So you can take 9 hit points, Elwood.
Oh, I heal for 9.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm gonna end my turn.
Gonna go to Burke.
Second. Is there any way for me to understand if I'm in range or not?
I think you're just outside of its range.
All right, so Burke's gonna take some move. Spread everybody.
Yeah, I think you were 15 feet away from it.
Fire off a spell.
As it's like rooting into the ground, the guiding bolt just flies right over its head as it's digging the earth in the lightning.
Okay, that's my
To Justin. Your insight versus a deception. Believe you're gonna make it. Yep. You could pull your bow if you drop your rapier. The insightful fighting gives you advantage, though, right? Isn't that how that one plays out? Oh, it lets you use your sneak attack. Dude, that just makes that fucking pirate rogue seem so overpowered. He, like, always gets to give himself sneak attack. It's absurd. Yeah. So you just, like, shoot wide as this thing seems to be moving. And at the end of your turn, it's going to charge into... I think Ezra's the last person to deal damage to it? No, it wasn't Ezra. Yeah, the quarterstaff. Yeah, okay. It's gonna charge back at Ezra. Gotcha. That's kind of like how I treat missile weapons anyways. As long as you guys don't flee from this fight, that rapier's not really at risk. Becomes a different story if you're fighting something like goblins that might actually run by to try to steal it. 6. I think that's an 11 to hit you.
And that missed.
No, my bad. It's a 14.
And that hits.
It's a big boy boar. So as it slashes through into you, it is going to do 15 slashing damage and 6 lightning damage are going to arc through its tusks as it tries to stab into you.
21 damage.
Sounds right. My bad, I roll with real dice, so once I pick them up, I don't really know anymore, so it's almost always going to be, yep, that sounds right.
Yeah, but
21.
15 plus 2. Yeah, 21. Yeah. Yeah, barely.
And then it's going to go to Victor.
Can I just drag it out, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's
That's
why
cool.
the fuck. Yeah.
Hey,
we
how do you
did.
drag it from your spell list? That work.
That's what I mean. It's a token. It's essentially inside of those spells. As it sees the font of fire starting to build in front of it, it seems to be leaping to the side as the explosion starts to mount, and it gets burnt, but it seems to avoid a lot of the concussive force. Oh wait, you cast yours at a higher level. Did that actually cast? Oh yeah, 8d6. No, that's still level 3. Do you have higher level than level 3 spell slots right now? Gotcha.
That'll
I think
be
it's
it.
next level that you get the higher. At the end of your turn, I think it's just going to take a disengage action as it continues to run past. And it's going to start rooting into the ground. The lightning does not arc. It's going to start to stare down. Damn, it hates Ezra. It's going to start to stare down Ezra as it mounts up for another charge into you. Nat 1 is going to be a big old miss as it runs past, and like as it goes to like root its tusks into an uppercut like attack into you, it's just going to kind of like slash into the fire, and there's just like a big puff of smoke as the embers in the fire like scattered to the wind as it runs past. But you can make an attack of opportunity if you would like.
I would like.
That will hit. And I'll go to Elwood for 5.
Alrighty. I'm fireballing. Can I move after I attack, or does it have to be?
Movement can happen pretty much any time on your turn.
I'm gonna fireball first. Got a fireball.
Your account's Christian, right? Your Roll20 account? No, that's somebody else. It's Elwood on here, my bad. There you go. You should now have control of the fireball. Same thing, if you drag the name out, you can drop the token.
Yeah, there you
Boom. Right on his finger.
I rolled a 14, so I don't know what your DC is offhand, but we'll see. I think it's higher.
Oh no.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
So as it explodes, it seems to be reacting to the font growing in front of it again. And as it leaps aside, it seems to leap further into the actual explosion.
Not work. Not work. Trying to avoid that one, huh? 4. Yeah. I said that out loud. Hold on, I'm gonna move.
And it's going to Ezra. Nice solid line, just in case I get that lightning back. Excellent choice.
Oh, hold on. Wait.
Nope, that's where you move to.
Oh, shit.
I mean, I've got
Yeah,
legendary actions with it anyways. If I want to line you guys up, I'm able to. It's got plenty of movement speed. I just like your actual choice there. You used a quintessential D&D spell, and you're asking for a quintessential D&D spell.
Yeah, man. I gotta play that D&D.
Yeah, so as a bonus action, I'm gonna spirit toad air form.
So I think it's at 10 hit points now, right? It's your druid level plus 4.
It's 5 plus my.
Okay, it's 5. Okay, so you're at 11 now. So everybody can take 11 temporary hit points.
How do I do that on?
With temporary hit points, it's the same type of thing where if you just click your actual like health area, it'll let you open up like all of the health functions. And one of those in particular is called temporary hit points. You just put the 11 in there. Temporary hit points always come off first, and you could never get them back.
Awesome. I figured it out.
What is it? It's a 30-foot radius?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Then as my action, I am going. I'll try it. I'll call lightning.
Strong move.
Yeah, I gotta roll.
I'm gonna use my bend luck to enemies roll, not saving throw.
What is that, a D4 that you subtract from it?
Correct.
You can roll that.
Yeah, I rolled a.
The lightning seems to start to arc down from the skies above. I mean, I think I just said that it's a clear night. Can this actually summon when there's nothing in the sky? I feel like one of them actually requires it.
It comes with its own storm cloud.
Yeah, because I summoned the cloud.
Gotcha. So yeah, as the lightning bolt flashes down, it seems to be like moving away from and beyond the boar, and then it arcs back into its tusks.
That might have been it. I'm gonna move out of the way.
I mean, I think it's cute to use lightning and thunder damage against a creature that uses lightning and thunder damage.
Oh no! Why'd you wait? Awesome! Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
End of my-
At the end of your turn, it is going to charge towards Justin. I have your totem selected. Was that about where it was?
That's exactly where.
Word. So it's going to charge through Justin.
Take an attack of up close enough.
I don't think it had to charge into your range.
Okay.
It should get a solid hit on Justin. Oh yeah, definitely. So what is that? Half damage on? Can you post Uncanny Dodge? Yeah, definitely then. And it's gonna do 9 and 4 lightning. So you will take 4 piercing and 2 lightning damage as it charges through you. And then it will go to Burke.
Preston, how did you post like a ability like that? I
That
don't
one-
see. Oh, okay, cool.
I think 2 lightning and 4 piercing. I don't think it matters with most of you. I'm still used to like saying it separate for barbarians.
We're just gonna charge, swing.
With a solid connection.
Um,
But wait, I think that's still single-handed damage there.
yeah, it usually rolls both, but I can roll it on my sheet. Two-handed. Sheet, I got 12. Show that to you. See it in roll. All right.
I can see the 12 on D&D Beyond.
That's awesome. So,
Great one.
go
Yeah.
with the 12.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, I want everything to roll across to roll 20, but I can confirm that you rolled the 12.
Yeah, no,
I'm not sure why it's doing that, but
I don't. I could read.
I have a feeling it's a way to equip it. That might be the difference because it's a versatile, but we'll have to just look at that later.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna that again. And
So as oh shit, as you smack into the creature, how do you kill it?
oh, like Splot cranium breaks through, stuck in.
So as you run up beside Justin and get a solid hit into its skull, when you smash into it, as it's running over him, its head just crumbles into the ground, and it slides forward about another 15 or 20 feet as its skull is just caved in, and it seems to dissipate lightning into the earth, and its flesh and tusks start to lose a little bit of color, and it seems to just be a black boar, massive, incredibly large, but in the end, the lightning seems to dissipate from the creature, and it seems to be dead.
Dinner.
I am not eating.
No,
Good.
but I like to get a closer look at it. While I was concentrating on its magic, I felt like affected. See if I can see if there's like the obvious lightning bits.
So you can do a nature check if you'd like, or you could do a medicine check, and then an investigation is kind of the third option, depending on what proficiencies you have and what kind of information you're looking for.
I'll go with nature because I want to see if there's unnatural things about it, but if there's anything else that sticks out like natural like started from.
My bad. I guess also Arcana is an option that you could do there. So this creature seems to have brought in some sort of magic into its nature. It was channeling lightning as a very natural thing to its being. It's hard to tell whether that was something that was done to it, whether it was born this way, whether this thing is a unique happening, or if it is something happening in this area. But it seems to be that the lightning that once like fused through this creature was a part of it. It seems to be something that was, for other reasons as well now, not something that harmed it, that it was making this thing stronger. Roll a perception check. It's hard to tell at first, but as minutes go by, you do see that this mist seems to be coming from this creature, that in some way it brought kind of the conductive power of the water into the area. And you would notice that this mist isn't just water, that there's actually like a salt content to it that was making all of you more conductive to the lightning damage.
Hey Jeff, what are you looking at over there? You seem pretty interested in this fog. And no wonder it knocked me on my ass. Gotta be the only reason, right?
Sure. Perfect. No, came from, but I can tell that lightning comes from it as natural as everything else, flowing through.
So
Um,
you detected magic on it. I'd like to try and inspect that, see if I can get information, some arcane information. That
You can do an Arcana check.
I'd like to inspect its tusks.
Bergson.
So, as you kind of go over this creature and look through it, it doesn't seem to be that the tusks are like an ivory. They seem far more uniform, and yeah, that's like a very middle ground roll. They have a weird structure to them that doesn't seem like a traditional ivory, but they seem to certainly be a source of the magic that this creature was. With it being dead, it's hard to get too much more information than the tusks are certainly one of the least natural parts of this thing compared to any other pig or boar that you would see, any other tooth that you might come across.
Hey guys, these tusks, they seem a little unnatural. I don't know. Are you guys into like big game hunting? Hack off one of these tusks and along with it might be worth something.
Plan to hack them both.
They seem
They're still growing from it. They're like the actual structure of the tusk is unnatural. And what I would say is probably beyond anybody to recognize is that this thing has like almost like a like carbon structure that's channeling the the lightning, the electricity through its tusks.
I mean, hear me out. I mean, who was it? Ezra that casted some lightning spell. If I'm right on that. Maybe that could be like awesome lightning focus of some sort. Channel some lightning magic through. Hey,
I don't
let's
know
hack
much
one of
about
these
that
fuckers
term.
off. I mean, you guys dragged out a big old dragon claw on me earlier. I mean, you guys seem carrying around some large talents.
Before we cover it up, can I take a look at it with detect magic again? There's still magic in the body of.
Oh no. Yeah, this.
So yeah, you can proc detect magic while they're kind of going about this. And what are you looking for?
Let's just see if I can. I seems to have left it. Yeah, it's still like still magical. I don't know. Yeah.
Post detect magic for me. I was more trying to reward you for using detect magic than that detect magic would have any effect over seeing this creature. This creature is meant to be what it is. It's not like a spell, is what I was getting at. Yeah, I would say that by now, as you look at the creature, it already seems to be losing any magical nature that it had, and that it's like dissipating. And from now, as you look about, it seems non-magical. I will bring up that whoever is holding that fucking silver brooch from like 7 months ago, that's magical, and nobody's ever tried to look at that thing. I think I've said it once before, and still nobody ever looked at it. But other than that, you spot all of the other magical items that are on all of your friends.
Burke's gonna pull that out.
That emanates transmutation magic.
Oh, cool. I relay that. And everyone.
Cool. Can
know
you?
what it
That's
is?
on.
Do you have the identify spell? You guys can attune to it, is basically how you find it. By taking time to like meditate on that object is how you find stuff out about stuff that you don't know anything about. But as you like look it over, you can roll an arcana to see if you know anything about it. It's not the same as identifying, though.
Little, but transmutation magic. That's like or
Yeah, I'm not always going to be extremely on point to note all of the schools. It's part of what's frustrating about detect magic because there's 10 different schools. So often I will just choose one. In my opinion, transmutation changes something from one form to another, and that's why I give that clue. Having Ezra tell you that the thing emanates transmutation magic, and that it is I believe that is a crow, the raven. You're relatively sure that this might be something that you can actually turn it into a raven.
yeah, we should handle. You seem very in tune with nature and stuff.
Sure, if no one else wants, I'll take it.
No, it's still the middle of the night.
Go for like 3 hours.
Not even 3.
Oh shit. That's right.
How far off the road were we?
Yeah, I think it's just inside of you kind of thing.
Possibly. I go over to the campfire and cast control magic and make a little bit of the flame bounce from the fire onto my torch. That's what I do. They can't actually touch the flame with it. I follow.
There's a few
Go ahead, Mara. Sorry.
there's a few different like fires within view. Roll a d100 for me, Justin. The closest fire that you can see, you guys seem to be pretty evenly like between camps, but they seem vaguely like set up so they can see like one another. So you guys are kind of halfway between. But you're pretty good at judging distances, and you're pretty sure to the north they're a little bit closer to you. But in general, you guys are essentially like a half mile away in each direction from what seem to be like guard fires. And you assume if the Lord's Alliance is patrolling this area, that they're probably the ones who created these fires, and you actually can see along much of the road these little specks kind of continue on out of view. But they seem to be about every mile or two, and you're kind of right between two of them.
Yeah.
The way
And in Thunder Tree, tell us what's Tusk if we bring one.
I mean, I don't know.
Try.
I say we slay.
Chop one of
That's what I'm talking about.
try to harvest that.
Yeah, do a medicine. And you're just chopping it off with an axe.
Yeah, a light axe.
So as you go to chop at it, it seems to separate pretty easily, but you do notice that your axe like chips as you get to the core, and it seems that there's like something inside of the core of the tusk, like not marrow. It's actually almost a metal, and it gleams kind of like a silver inside of the light of a torch or whatever you're working by at this point. But it seems like this tusk is like an insulation around a conductor.
I think I'm gonna try to take the other one.
Do another medicine check. So yeah, you can write down the two tusks. Just write down one is damaged.
Copy that. Okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, let's head north.
Sounds good.
So yeah, if you guys progress towards those fires along the route, it's only another few minutes before you kind of get there on your horses, and you can join that camp. Let's see. How are you all progressing towards it as you get close to the fire?
All right. Well, are we off our horses? I hop off my horse. I walk towards the fire.
All out. Hey, in the camp. Protocol of a
Gotcha.
do that protocol, whatever.
Roll a performance at advantage. So as you all approach, you see like little bits of them kind of coming to attention and kind of rousing one another as they start to see something coming from the south. But Burke's able to kind of dismount and actually yell off to them. And yeah, we'll go for a little like thunder lightning moment as you all call off kind of like a safe word. And they seem to lower their guard a little bit and come out to meet you just beyond the light of their main fires. And a few of them come out with torches. Good day. Why are you all traveling so late in the evening?
That we were camping on our own side of the road and we were attacked by barrier fire and
You are most welcome to join us. You can make yourselves as much as possible at home on the road.
You
There's certainly no shortage of tales and dangers along the road. What sort of strange beasts do you mean? You see his eyes kind of light up. Ah, yes! We have certainly heard tales of that creature. Some have started to call it Gorthok, but none of us actually believe that such a thing is real.
Was. Tell us more about it. We met it, but it was a lot to say.
I have only heard tales of those that it's killed, but it's always more fancy than it is believable. We couldn't really tell you much more than people have started to talk about such things along the road, and more often than not, it is people from other camps telling tales of thunder and lightning wiping out those that they had been traveling with on previous days.
Burke's gonna pull his armor aside and show cuts he's got. Quite real. Oh yeah. Or it was.
See a few of the soldiers, like 3 or 4, kind of paying attention to you all at this point, and a few of them kind of like turn to talk amongst themselves for a moment, before like the one you've been interacting with kind of like comes back around. Seems the earliest seems to be about a month ago, some point during the high sun, but it's hard to tell. Such a beast is, again, always seems more mythical than it seems to be real. If you've come away alive from such a creature, you should count yourselves lucky.
Killed such a creature. Not only did Burke show him the tusks.
Burke pulls one out in each hand. Take a look at that. How long are they?
Yeah, so like the one is probably about like 1.5 feet, 2 feet, and the other one's probably about 3/4 of that. Like it would have broken much higher on the actual tusk, and kind of like shattering. So like the damaged one is probably again like that forearm kind of size. But they very quickly stop their laughing as they actually see the tusks. We've certainly heard tales of this thing described, but no one would have believed that to be true. Can I see those? And he just kind of reaches out towards the shorter one. Takes a few moments to inspect it. Some of the others are kind of like reaching for it, and they kind of pass it around. This is incredible. Like no boar tusk I've ever seen.
Exactly. Lightning out of
What an astonishing creature. And you all have killed it?
Kid, you saw our camp probably. Fire go direction where body out there.
You guys see the fog. Or hear the lightning.
We heard some of those rumblings, but we were unsure what was happening. Some have told tales that there's thunder cliffs down between us and Leyland here. Certainly dangerous things happening along the coast. And we just thought maybe it was coming into view. 2 of the soldiers kind of like gather some of their things, and they kind of like get to themselves and start to head off down south on the road.
Elwood says, have any advice for offer, begging you, we're in need. We need a place to sleep. We need someplace safe. Is there anything that you can give us?
You can make a persuasion, but I need this at disadvantage because you are wearing rich ass clothes.
And of us look surprised that
Oh, we can offer you some company. But if you need protection and you've killed this creature, I think you mistake us for something we are not. You're welcome to our rations, but there are many here who need food perhaps more than ourselves.
Yeah, do you have any potions laying around? I'll take that as a no.
more than just.
You are
I'd like
more
to know
than
more
welcome.
about Leylon. We haven't been down there. How far is
I believe we are maybe 50 or so miles from Leylon. It is an old settlement that is being rebuilt at present. Um, it's troubled by many things, but like many areas, after the destruction of Mount Hotenu, there's a long process of bringing things back.
there work there for a group like ours?
Work is hard to find. Do you make a habit of throwing yourselves in front of great dangers, like this boar?
Pretty much. That's what we.
You might find a home in such a place. They say that the wizard's tower has started to expel creatures from different planes, and that has been much of what has been haunting that land.
Burke lets out a big yawn. Ready.
You guys have any fancy bedding? Something a little bit more comfortable. The bedrolls laying around.
It's like just lay on the ground.
The soldier, leans down towards the fire and kind of, reaches towards a large rock that's out towards, the periphery of the fire and kind of holds it up, and he's like, you can use this to warm yourself in your fancy bedding.
Ah, great, thank you.
And it's just a warm rock.
I love warm rocks.
Burke's gonna plop himself down just like the soldier. Bed.
Yeah, there's a few different groups of people in this area. There's a lot of people who are just kind of laying side to side in a big bundle. There is a chorus of snores. It's not going to be the most wonderful of sleeps, but you are all essentially inside of a ring of a lot of people. There's 4 different posts of soldiers out towards the different peripheries of what is pretty much like a large bonfire in the center.
I'm going to cradle that warm rock like a 5-year-old with a teddy bear.
We'll
ahead.
probably
Go
go to
ahead,
home.
Dustin, sorry.
So, if everybody is going to sleep here, we will finish off at this point for the evening and pick up next week.